Welcome back to our top 5 ride series where we take you guys into Orlando's iconic theme parks and we get to explore our top 5 rides at each park. Now our series continues today with Disney's Hollywood Studios located at the Walt Disney World Resort in Orlando, Florida. So let's get started, guys.
So welcome back to the channel, guys. If you are new here, we post about all things Disney, Universal, HHN, and more. And we post things like vlogs, guides, how-tos, and like this video, our top 5 rides. Be sure to subscribe to follow along on our journey and give this video a thumbs up as it really helps our channel grow and gives us the opportunity to produce more content for you guys.
So without further ado, let's get started with our number 5 pick. Being in Toy Story Land, it's gonna be Slinky Dog Dash. Now, Slinky Dog Dash is one of Hollywood Studios' newer rides located in Toy Story Land and opened with the land on June 30th, 2018. The story of this ride is that you're riding Andy's new coaster that he's built in the backyard using his Dash and Dodge Mega Coaster Kit, and he decides to use Slinky Dog as the ride vehicle, hence the name. It is categorized as a family launch coaster, but while it is kid-friendly with a 38-inch height restriction, it is just as fun for adults as it is for younger guests.
This is a great ride for kids with the theming of Toy Story, but also adults who grew up in the 90s will really appreciate all of the references to the movies and the other various toys placed within the queue and throughout the ride. The grand finale even features Wheezy the Penguin serenading you as you get ready to exit. Now, be aware the lines for this ride can and will get pretty long, and the entirety of the queue line is located outside, so we recommend riding this ride at night if you can to avoid standing in the hot Florida sun. On top of that, the lighting in Toy Story Land is actually pretty unique to that area, and you can get a nice view of Tower of Terror and Galaxy's Edge while you are on the ride at night.
Now, just because Slinky Dog Dash made it number 5 on our list doesn't mean it should make it number 5 on your list as well. This ride is a must-do when you go to Hollywood Studios. It is thrilling for the entire family, and we surely do love this ride. But it's number 5.
So that brings us into our number 4 ride, Millenium Falcon Smuggler's Run. And this ride is going to be located in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. Smuggler's Run opened on August 29th, 2019. Guests go on a mission with the characters Hondo, Naka, and Chewbacca to smuggle a shipment of expensive starship fuel called coaxium. Each guest on the attraction is assigned a role of either pilot, gunner, or engineer. What's really cool about this ride is that it's interactive, meaning that as the crew aboard the Millenium Falcon, you actually get to control the outcome of the ride and receive points for how well you do on the mission.
Now, this is probably one of the coolest queue lines that Hollywood Studios has to offer specifically for the original Star Wars fans because you get to actually go on board the Millenium Falcon. Now, you'll be able to walk through the corridors before entering the cockpit, which looks identical to the one in the movies. Then you take your seats as the simulation-based ride begins. Now, another noteworthy aspect to this ride is if you are assigned pilot, specifically if you get the right pilot seat, you actually get to put the Millenium Falcon in light speed, which is any Star Wars fan's dream. Imagine going in light speed in the Millenium Falcon. Secret tip!
So if you have a total of 6 people in your party, you can actually activate an Easter egg called CHEWIE mode, which basically means that CHEWIE is going to be guiding you on your mission instead of Hondo.
Now imagine having CHEWIE yelling at you the entire time.
It would be a little hard to understand the exact details.
Should we even put that on there?
However, it is a little tricky to activate, but we will put the directions for that in the description below if you would like to learn how to activate CHEWIE mode.
Now we're going from Galaxy's Edge on over to the classic Sunset Boulevard for our number 3 pick, being Rock and Roller Coaster starring Aerosmith. You'll find Rock and Roller Coaster at the end of Sunset Boulevard next to Tower of Terror. This ride is probably one of Disney's most intense coasters as it is enclosed and it's a launched roller coaster that goes literally from 0 to 60 in 2.8 seconds. Riders experience up to 5 Gs and travel through 3 inversions, making it Disney World's only inversion roller coaster.
The story of the ride is that you are guests at a recording studio named G-Force Records. You are getting a tour of the studio when you come across the band Aerosmith. They are actually late for their show all the way across town. Steven Tyler then invites your entire group of guests to come to the show and be VIPs, which then prompts the manager to call for a really fast car, which is your ride vehicle. You then proceed into the back alleyway of the studio where you board onto your super stretched limo. And then you race across LA to try to get to the show on time. One really cool aspect of this ride is they actually blast Aerosmith music while you are on board. And there are different soundtracks and mashups of songs depending on which limo you get, so it's a different ride every time you go.
Now, do keep in mind, like we said, this is one of the more intense rides at Disney, and they also have a height requirement of 48 inches. So you may have to leave little ones behind on this ride. Now, if there's more people in your party that do want to ride as well, don't worry, they do have something called a rider swap, which allows you to go ahead and leave the little one behind with somebody in your party. You get to go through the line, ride the ride, and then when you come back, those other people get to go on the ride without having to wait in line this time.
All right, so that brings us to our number 2 ride, which may be a surprise for some. Surprise the most. It is Star Wars Rise of the Resistance. And although we do love this ride, there are 2 main factors why it doesn't get the number 1 spot for us, but we will get to those in a little bit. Rise of the Resistance is also located in Galaxy's Edge. Disney describes this attraction as a combined trackless dark ride, walk-through, motion simulator, and drop ride system. The concept of this ride is that you are put right into the middle of a battle between the Resistance and the First Order.
Now, the ride features 4 inner working ride systems and incorporates gigantic practical sets, audio animatronics, and screen-based simulations. Rise of the Resistance is one of the most complex and advanced attractions designed by Walt Disney Imagineering, and probably the most impressive ride we've been on. However, that idea leads us into those 2 things that become complications as to why this ride did not take the top spot for us. For starters, it's actually very difficult to get on this ride. Disney has a reservation system implemented to even get on this ride, and they usually do it at 2 segments throughout the day. One's in the morning and one's in the afternoon. Now, these reservations go within, and we've experienced it, 2 to 3 seconds. Literally 2 to 3 seconds and the reservation's completely taken up. Now, if you get the opportunity to get one of these reservations, then you're in luck. Don't worry, the reservations, they have like groups for boarding. It goes pretty quickly along the process. And when you do get that reservation, that's probably the best feeling ever. It's probably even better than getting on the ride, I'll be honest.
And then our second reason for why it doesn't take the top spot is kind of more of a personal preference, but as fans of the original trilogy and the prequels, we would have loved if this ride used the same exact technology but had the characters and the scenes from the original movies or even the prequels.
Yeah, so just imagine being like in the prequels movies and going like in the middle in the heat of the Clone Wars, like actual battle between the clones and the droid army. Like that is something I would love to see. Not Rey and Kylo and Finn.
However, don't let those things diminish the technology of this ride, because it really is one of the most, if not the most, impressive rides we have ever been on. So if you do happen to be able to get a spot, definitely go on this ride.
Yeah, I know we kind of just put some negative things on this ride. However, by all means, this is the greatest ride I've ever been on. I'm sure we both would say that, but this is the best ride that Disney has ever created. Okay, now that finally brings us to our number 1 pick, which I'm sure you guys know what it is now. It's the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror. Now, Tower of Terror opened on July 22nd, 1994, along with the Sunset Boulevard section of Disney's Hollywood Studios. Now, the attraction is inspired by the television series The Twilight Zone and takes place in a fictional Hollywood Tower Hotel, which is located in Hollywood, California. Now, entering through the hotel's front doors, guests encounter an interior design to give the impression that the Hollywood Tower Hotel has been left untouched since the night of its closure. Past the front desk, the main elevators are in a dilapidated state and the sign reads out of order.
The ride then takes guests into the boiler room of the hotel, where you board a maintenance service elevator. The elevator takes you on a journey through the floors of the hotel, where you'll encounter ghosts of the guests who disappeared in the hotel on Halloween night in 1939. You'll then ascend to the finale of the ride, which includes a sequence of drops that are actually faster than the speed of gravity as you're being pulled downward. Each ride will be different as there are various randomized sequences of drops, so you never know which ride you're gonna get.
That's as low as it goes.
This ride is truly an icon of Hollywood Studios and Disney World itself. You can pretty much see it anywhere on property due to its vast height. So if you are visiting Hollywood Studios, make sure that this ride is on your must-do list.
Yeah, this ride's probably the most nostalgic ride that Disney has to offer, with a bunch of other rides, of course, as well. But this is one of those that I remember riding as a little kid and crying, and to this day, still pretty much crying on this ride. So if you have little ones, just be cautious that this ride may freak them out. However, I've been in line and on the ride many times where I see kids half my height, and I don't know how they do it because I'm a little scared of this ride. However, though, it's an awesome ride. It's incredible. We love it, and that's why Tower Terror deserves our #1 spot on the list.
All right, that does it for our top 5 rides at Disney's Hollywood Studios.
Now, if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like and also comment down which rides you guys prefer on our top 5 list at Hollywood Studios. So that's gonna do it for us today, guys. We appreciate you guys watching, and we'll catch you guys in the next video.
Bye.
Bye, guys. The Twilight Zone, when the bullet hits the bone.